Haha, hello everyone. Saludos, grazie, bonjour. I'll try to cover all the languages that I'm terrible at. Sorry, barely speak Portuguese. Hello everyone, great seeing everybody. As far as people are coming in, I already said hi in the chat for a few of you. It's great to be here on this beautiful morning. I am trying to do that a little early because people wrote me saying, man, I wish it was a little early. Some friends are in India, some people are in Japan, some people are in Australia, some people are in Eastern Europe. So I try to be early a little bit today, 1 hour early actually, so that I can have all those folks part of our live stream and hang out with us here. So great to be here. I'm here sipping in my coffee. It's a beautiful morning here in Denver. It snowed the whole day last night, the whole day actually. And it's beautiful. So very, very inspiring to play. Amedio, buongiorno, grazie, my friend. Great to see you here, straight from Italy. Well, let's get down to it. Last time we did take a look at Triste, right? The great Jobim song, and it was so much fun kind of going into that tune. Peter, hello from Portland. Good friend Peter is here from Portland, Oregon, and I'm still trying to get this thing to work here, man. I got a cool thing going on here where I can share stuff, but hopefully this thing will work. Great to see you, my friend Peter. Camilo, bom dia, meu camarada do Brasil, aqui com a gente. Let's get down to it, shall we? We did take a look at Triste last time, which is such a great tune, and today we're gonna take a look at yet another great tune. Sorocaba, yet another tune. Where is the? Let me try to get this thing working here so we can have the comments show up, because this is not the one I wanted to have. Bear with me for a second. I want to have this. Okay, see, Camilo de Sorocaba, you show up there, and then hopefully this will work now. Let me see. Will it work? I'm trying to make this thing all work, but hopefully bear with me for a second. I really want this. Okay, I have to do manually. Okay, I'll try to get everybody in here. I just had this whole thing set up, man, with this, this whole tech, right? So today I set up a different scene, so hopefully you're gonna see the actually here you're gonna get to see the chart that we're gonna take a look at the same time. So it's promising, but I gotta make this thing all work, and I have so little time during the week to do that. So hopefully it'll work. We're gonna take a look at a beautiful Jobim classic, right? The great Brigas Nunca Mais. Most of you probably know that song. And besides taking a look at the groove and harmony and there's some tricks here and there that I can share with you. It's just basically another one of those that we're gonna be talking about the method, right? The sambifying method, right? The stuff that I use to make any song become like a Brazilian thing. I call sambifying, but it applies to other rhythms, baião, and other rhythms, and even some more funk, whatever. Like the principle is the same. I call it sambifying. Let's take a look at our song. Hopefully, if this thing worked, let me see if it worked right now. It did work. Look at that. All right. We have a great musician plugged in here, Mr. Ricky Pantoja, my good friend and great musicians. I am so happy that we found each other a couple of years ago now and have been playing. Ricky is a great inspiration, a beautiful, wonderful musician. And Ricky, it's time for you to get some live streams, my friend. I want to see you live too. Great to see you, brother. All right, let's get to that scene. Ah, look at that. Whoa, it's fancy, isn't it? Here's the... actually, I shouldn't do this. I should do this. It's weird, so I'm pointing to the wrong place, but it's right on the screen. Brigas Nunca Mais. This is the Jobim, not the Jobim, the Bossa Nova songbook version, which is a good one from Amisha Jack. And let's just kind of take a look at this melody and see what this melody offers us as far as elements for zombification, if you will. Jose is already asking me if the 7th string is in B. Yes, Jose, is in. I use in B. I use in B because it's easy for me to keep the 4th relationship between the strings, and I can find new chords that I like on B. If you are a more traditional samba choro guy, like you're probably using C, and there's a bunch of reasons for that, because the music has usually another guitar in 6, and the 7th string is more free to do those lines, and also a lot of the repertoire is very diatonic in C major, D, G, and all those keys, so it's easy to just have an open string in C. So I am using since I have played the instrument in B. All right, Brigas Nunca Mais. The harmony that is written here, it's kind of the standard one that people use, so let's just go through it, right? That's the standard harmony that is there. I'm just using exactly what is written there. A lot of great stuff. Whenever you have melodies that present a few quote-unquote big quote-unquote problems for a groove sort of dynamic here, it's great because we get to work on them and find great solutions. The first thing I would say about that one is that song, along with Triste, has in a particular place. This one has the triplets, right? The famous triplets. I mentioned that on our past stream, that for this kind of thing, the triplet is not our friend as far as the flow of the groove. So it's tricky to get the groove going with a triplet in the melody. For instance, that part, like by that part, I would be like this. Right? I would replace that with the Brazilian syncopation figure, as I call. Like here, this version is filled with it, right? So let's say here, this G major bar, and keep going here on the F sharp. That's the figure, the 16, 8, 16 note, that's our figure, right? This ta 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 ta, right? That's the figure that matters to us here. So I am going to replace this triplet for this figure. For instance, here, right? That's the triplet. Now replacing with that figure. It gets more jumpy and flowing. And that part here, the sort of the end part here that I was talking about, the second part, if you put that, right, then you have it. That's one thing I talked about last time, and I will always insist in that point for the flow of the solo guitar arrangement thing that we're doing. Ideally, you want to replace this triplet for the Brazilian syncopation figure because you get more of a groovy, jumpy sort of outcome, and you keep the flow of the groove. The triplet automatically makes you slow things down and get that kind of floaty and all that, right? So if I do like da da ti da do di da 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 da, not only gets the floaty thing, but it also points to the downbeat, which you don't really want much. You want to point to the second beat. So like I immediately have to stop the flow to play that triplet, and then right, that's the idea when you do that. I get some more comments here. Let me see if I can put them here. Jigs, this is Almisha Diak's book. Yes, Jigs, exactly. That's the Almisha Diak books. This one is called Bossa Nova. This one has 5 volumes. The first one ever released was the Jobim one, that he worked with Jobim himself, at 3 volumes that has all Jobim songs. Then later on he started doing, the other composers, and he made the Bossa Nova, which is 5 volumes, which obviously has tons of Jobim songs. So this one is from the Bossa Nova. I use the Bossa Nova version because this is also the Jobim one, because this is in 2/4, and the other one, a lot of Jobim early ones are in cut time 2/2, and I want to make a point about that figure 16, 8, 16. So I want that to be visually clear when you look at it, but it's the same thing. But that would be the answer for the question. Thank you, Jovanovic. Vamos lá, professor, vamos lá. Okay, so we did cover an important point, which is the triplet, right? We get this instead of. Like I can't maintain the groove like that if I lose a lot of the steam, like that train that keeps driving. That's why you put that figure there. The C sharp A, that ending there, like, right? The very, very ending, I'm just gonna tell you right away, a lot of people like me, we play the B flat major 7 there. Right, we play B flat major there instead of the A6. You don't need to play that, you can play, or I do it, It's a common thing. I also do, some people use on that B minor A7 like on that B. Some people put a D minor 6 in there. Which is beautiful. Some people also do, instead of the last time this thing happens, C sharp, A major, some people do F sharp. I'm one of them. Some people put, instead of C sharp minor, like a dominant chord. Then dominant here, right? There's many ways you can play that, right? So whatever feel that is better. And the ultimate different version is the pedal, right? That also a lot of people use, like me included. Like an E pedal. And then, right? So that's it as far as the harmony. Back to this shot over here. I hope it's clear, right? What the harmonies are. Another thing that you can do there it's one thing that some people do, like a substitution. Here you do first time you play, right? So you gotta repeat instead of repeating the same harmony. Sometimes you can do like an alternate 2-5-1 gain thing. I'll play for you. So instead of playing this sort of chromatic descending line like Jobim loves to do, like this, you know, that ends here on the F sharp, right? Jobim gives, some people uses this instead of A major, G sharp 7, and G major. Some people do 2-5-1s. E minor, A7, that's a 2-5 to D major, and then you can do 7 or minor, however you want to do it, but D sharp, G sharp, and then C sharp, and then F sharp. They all will land at the F sharp here. My guitar is already complaining about the snowy weather, complaining quite a bit actually. Sorry about that. So 1 and 2. Alternative version. We're at the same place. So you see, it's sort of a alternate route that you can take there on the song. Instead of A major, G sharp, G, F, which is a chromatic descending bass, you have a more jumpy, a more 2-5-1, and then here. That's the alternate version of the song. As far as the harmony, those are the tricks that you can use there, at least the ones that I do. So you can steal them away and use it yourself. The beginning of the song usually can start with a pedal if you want, you know. People start with the ending, you know. You can, and you can use a pedal there. I'll probably start usually most of the time when I play that song, you know. By the way, the B flat major that we have here, you can also do the relative minor, which I can also, sometimes I do. Let me see. Instead of using this, like a nice G minor 9, that's cool too. You can use. So we're just kind of messing up with the harmony at the moment, right? So just showing you a few things you can do to get like some sort of alternative path to the original harmony, which is great too. Don't take it for granted. It's Jobim after all, right? You guys love this chromatic, this anything. We can talk about this at some point too. But the main menu of today is talking about how I'm summifying this song. How am I making this sound more Brazilian or less or whatever? But this song is already, of course, a samba, bossa nova. so it's easier to apply the method. But sort of reviewing a little bit of what I talked last time, I just introduced the Sambafy technique thing that I do, which is a 3-layer approach, that you look at a chart like that instead of thinking as a 2D, like reading, meaning like the chords and the melody. You think of a 3D approach. So you don't really look at things in 2D, you look at 3D, which means you think of layers, like 3 layers instead of these 2. And you treat the texture like that, 3-layer approach. So you have the top layer, which, you know, when I say most of the time is taken by the melody, like the top layer, right? That's the top layer. Then you have the bottom layer, which most of the time, but not always, are taken by the bass. So you have this case, right? And then you have the middle layer, which most of the time takes care of the notes that fill up the chord, right? The harmony part, but also in great part also is a space for counter melodies or for some comments that will dialogue with the melody most of the time. So there'll be in this case I'm using these notes, but cool, great, but how we put them together. Okay, this is how we get to the bottom of it. When you are learning that song, you should go through the chords and just kind of get comfortable with the, you know, the texture of chords, like the, you know, like this song is. I know, just get the chords, get them comfortable. Then you're gonna start looking at the 3-layer stuff. So the way you do that, you start with combining the top layer and the bottom layer together. That's the first thing you have to practice to get this system to work. So the melody, of course, needs to be pretty well solid, right, on your hands. So 1, 2, 1. Let's go to here. Just 4 or 5 bars. Then you put that with the bass, which is the bottom layer. So you have 1, 2, 1. There we go. Just top and bottom together. That's it. 1 and 2. You need to have your fingers to get used on how they will sort of negotiate those 2 things playing at the same time. You have a what I call highly active melody, meaning very syncopated melody, which most of those songs are, and when they are like that, it's great for our system. And you have a very foundational bass, right? That's something else that's very important. Sometimes people get a little confused with the bass department and play the bass too much in different parts of the groove of the bar, and that's not how we make this groove. You should make a very foundational bass. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. You can mess with the bass later. There are things you can do with the bass, you know. Can do a lot of, you know, active bass, but that's later. You have to like play the foundational thing first, like so I did this, and now I'm gonna put the middle layer, and it will sound like that. 1, 2, 1. That's how it sounds, right? I play it again, and now you see that the beginning of it is not very active. I put the chords there, but there's no really a groove there, and I'll explain why. But 1 and 2. See, I did a bunch of it of the song, and everything starts to come together already, right? What's going on here? The middle layer is basically supporting the melody or going along with the bass. In this case, you see, that's how this thing works. You get a top layer and a bottom layer. You figure those out, and in the middle is just ice on top, like just cherry on top. It just comes to support the melody or the bass and gives that the harmony sense, right? It completes the chord, if you will, right? Let's see. I got a comment from Jigs. Very nice demonstration later, Matthew. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's pretty simple. The method actually is very simple. The implementation, of course, takes work, and you gotta get used to it. But you see that in the parts that the melody is mostly active, I'm not doing anything. The groove just happened by itself, you know. I'm not thinking of a groove at all, and that's the beauty of it. Whenever you have a very active melody, very syncopated melody, the melody becomes the groove, and you just have to follow it, basically, right? Just basically act accordingly with what the melody is giving me. I'm not thinking of a groove or anything at that point, you know, when I'm doing because the melody carries enough information, enough rhythmic information to make a groove. You just have to support the melody, you know, and then the groove will just be implied by the melody. Cool? And that's the beauty of the system, which is 3 layers, and it has like basically 2 stages. You have a stage where the melody is active, a scenario, right? When the melody is active, then the melody becomes the groove. And you have a second stage where the melody is either resting or is being long. When that happens, you bring the groove in on that space, and that's the beauty of it. So at the beginning, the melody is a little long-ish, like and then active. When that happens, the groove is implied by the melody. But when it's not, I bring the groove in 1 and 2. And then I'm already here. The melody. Groove. Melody. Melody. So you see that it's a dialogue between active melody and a very quiet melody. When the melody is active, the melody is leading the way as far as what the groove does. And then when the melody is long, I come in with the groove. On this case, I'm using the samba groove, right? That's a samba groove. I talked about this many times. If you want to know more about these groups, you should definitely get into the Facebook private group that I have. And I have a bunch of lessons there, which are great. They're great lessons with PDFs and everything. I do talk about the samba groove there. I do talk about bossa nova. You can get PDFs and all that. If you want to join the group, you can join it here, facebook.com/group/Brazilian Guitar. The name of the group actually is called Contemporary Brazilian Guitar Mastery Group. So you have to answer a few questions at entry, because it's a private group just for people who are really into it. Now you can just join. You have to answer a few questions I'm asking you, then you get in. and then you have tons of lessons on grooves and things like that. So I talk about the samba groove there. I won't spend much time talking about that groove here. Go there, you will learn it. So I am putting the groove when the melody is resting, right? So 1 and 2. Here I'm not. Here I am. Not. Oh, sorry. Here. Not. Yes. So you see that I am playing and not playing the groove, you know, but you feel that the groove is there all the time because it kind of is. It's just not, it's just like when you think it's not, it's because it's being formed by the melody. So the melody on these songs are busy enough, active enough, carrying enough syncopation that is enough for us to keep the terrain going on point, right? And now this part here, it's all the melody, you know, these melodies. But remember, I replaced the triplet for that figure 16, 8, 16. So let's look at that again here. If you look at the second page there, blah da ba dum dee da da dum dee da dum da dee da. Right? I'm not playing that. I'm playing ba 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 di da be ba. Right? That's what it makes that thing bouncy and jumpy. Cool. Don't forget that you gotta replace the triplet, otherwise you don't have that groove going on. Jakes asks, can we still get the PDFs using the hashtag in the Facebook group if the post was made? Yes, absolutely, Jakes. Absolutely. Put the hashtag in there, and then you get a Facebook messaging. Don't forget that. You know, it's a communication on that Facebook chat thing. That's where the PDF is gonna arrive for you. Just find the video there, put the hashtag where you want the PDF from, and then you receive that. Thanks for asking because it's good to clarify that. You know, I keep posting the lessons, and they will be sometimes get, you know, buried somewhere because people are commenting on a different thing. But you comment there, not only will help the group because that post is going to be put up again, but I also you get the PDF no matter what. So good. Yeah. So there is a scenario that it's very, very good for this approach in the melody department. And that's when you have that figure I was talking about, this 16, 8, 16, that I call Brazilian syncopation figure. You have that figure combined with different things, right? You have da 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 ba da ba ba or ba da ba da da, right? That figure along with other stuff. But you have the most groove happening when you have that combined with itself. Something like that. And then it gets even better when you start tying those figures. That's when you get the whole kind of upbeat, jumpy thing, syncopated thing. Now I'm transitioning between groups of two, but if I do connect all of them, then I get this. This is the downbeat of the bass, right? The bass being foundational. And then if I put the middle layer, just sprinkling some sugar in there, in particular points of them, I don't need to play. I can, if I want, supporting the melody, but I can just do. That's when I'm putting the chords. And then there's another melody later. This is just me playing around with that ending, right? Alright, that part I'm doing. And I can do that in every melody, like supporting. It's very important here, not only to obviously get this tight and groovy, but also the bass is very important, because the bass is what gives the foundation here, because everything is kind of going upbeat all over the place, like but this has to be super foundational, so that against that makes it the thing, which at the end of the day, by the way, is the top layer against the bottom layer that I was talking at the beginning. That's it. Then you see the chord and that particular upbeat, and that's it, and then you got the groove. Play this song now using that particular thingy I did here, right? That's the principle. It just works. It just works. Am I playing a groove here? It sounds like a groove, but again, I'm not thinking of a groove. And that's the beauty of it, of this system. It just works. That's it. And then that's it. And whenever you have the melody long or resting, you put the groove on, like at the beginning. Whenever I'm not doing it's all melody. Whenever I do that's me putting the groove. But you see that in the very few spots, the melody is taking care of everything. So on and so forth. So you see that the groove is not doing much there. It's just being called upon whenever needed, which when you have a highly syncopated song, not a lot of times. So that's the approach. That's the beauty of the system, the Sambafy system, as I call it. It just works. I can take that melody and I can make it sing, basically, for solo guitar or whatever. The beauty is also it works with any melody. The any melody part, we just add a step before the step, which is to bring that melody, whatever it is, to this universe. So we do the sumbification, right? So you bring that melody into our turf, if you will. You imprint all the syncopation figures in the melody, and then once you put the melody in that framework, it's game over. It will work. It's gonna work great. So I'll show another song in a little bit, how to prove that to you, the Sambafy system on a known, samba, bossa nova, or whatever. But before I go into more harmony stuff, specific things you can do here. Questions. You guys have questions? Please feel free to, type them there. I'm seeing everywhere. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on LinkedIn. And yeah, so feel free to ask anything you want, and then I'll get to your questions. Before I get to any questions, if you are, interested in some of these lessons, you can go to the Facebook group, which is right here, facebook.com/group/Brazilian guitar. That group is called Contemporary Brazilian Mastery Group. So you hit that link there, you'll get to entry with a few questions from me, then you're in. Then there's like a lot of lessons, and they're great lessons with PDFs and play alongs and things like that. You can get access to all that. If you are more than interested, you really want to learn these techniques, this method that I have, then you gotta get to my Brazilian Guitar Institute, which you can access here. I am about to open the doors for the general public, because so far I had privileged number of 15 students that work with me for the past year. That's when I launched this as a small launch. I have a great group of people that learn this. Basically, some of them are here in the stream, and now I'm gonna open up for everybody who wants to be part of that. And there's a waiting list at this link right now. If you get there, you get your name and you email, and then I'll see that, and then I will contact you soon to set up a Zoom call between us so we can play, and I can look at what you're doing and see if you're a good fit for this program. But that's full on this, learning not only a bunch of grooves, but also learn how to do this Sambify method. If you're really interested in that, I hope you are. If you want to get some really great lessons and stuff that have some of that too, but are more scattered around, if you will, you go to the group. It's free, but it's private, so you have to put questions, answer the questions to get in. And I'm talking about a bunch of grooves and things, a little bit of this too, but it's more on and off lessons. But the program is a full-on step-by-step year program if you're interested. Let's take a look at the questions. Girolamo Pagina, thank you for showing this beautiful technique. Could you use with improvise? Yes, that's the beauty of it, man. Yes, you can totally do that to improvise, and I do that all the time. So let me do a little pass on this song, and I'm gonna do sort of an improvised second thing using that technique. So I'll go, let's get to the end of the song, like something like that. So I did a mix of a few things, of course, but I am using that here as well. So every time you hear that sort of rhythmic, jumpy, this is me using the method, improvising, right? So I am doing a run through the harmony, and I am playing a melody that I'm coming up with, but I am using that sort of total syncopation to walk around these chords. To do that. So the answer is yes, and I use that all the time when I'm improvising, because I'm playing under that groove framework and I'm just taking advantage of it. So yes, totally improvisation friendly. Yes. I got a little off topic question. Brett asked if I do flamenco guitar as well. I used to Spanish guitar, Brazilian guitar. Thank you for the question, Brett. I don't really do flamenco guitar, man. It's a beautiful world that I am not super deep into as far as playing. I'm more from the outside, being an admirer and really loving Vicente Amigo. I'm a huge fan of Vicente. I saw him live a few years ago here and it was amazing. There's a bunch of amazing players, but I am more on the audience, just like, you know, being a fan and admiring. It's very it's specific and requires certain techniques that I have to go to the drawing board basically and get them, and there's not something that I play in general in my day-by-day life as a musician, as an artist, but I do love Brazilian Spanish, like flamenco guitar, but they are kind of different worlds in a way, you know. I'm looking at different things on the instrument, different tone, different concepts to play, to approach the instrument. That the flamenco is very different from what I do, and it will take me another lifetime to play as great as I wanted to play that language. So I love it, but I don't really play flamenco guitar. But thank you for the question. Who else is asking here? Many vibes. I like your blue electric gear on the shelf and wall. Thank you, man. Yeah, this one right here, right? That's a Strat Plus. That's a great guitar. Over here, there is the Pat Metheny model. Over here, this is a 12-string guitar. This weird one is the Chorale electric sitar. That's a beautiful instrument as well. Then I have a bunch of other stuff here. I have a 7-string here, and then an 8-string there. There's another instrument, all the instruments over there. But thank you for the question. Observation, really. There wasn't even a question, but if you have a question, please feel free to ask. As far as the guitar work and in this song, there's a few spots here that I would the gauge of what specifically, my friends, you asking, maybe gauge of strings. More questions coming. Do we need that many strings on acoustic to samba balls? No, we don't need it at all. I can play with a 6-string. I was actually playing this morning. There we go. This is a 6-string guitar. That's usually what I teach mostly on a 6-string, because sometimes confuse people. It's a 6-string that I use a lot since, you know, is here near the keyboard, as I teach with this one quite a bit. All right, let me go back to the tune. There is a spot here that maybe I will share a passage here that when you get here, so you have the C sharp minor, then the diminished C, and then B minor. This is one of the spots where the melody is a little like in the mid, like kind of a little low, for you to have the melody on top and information about the chord at the same time, right? Some people, you know, you do, if I do octave higher, then it's great, right? But if I'm playing this octave, there is a way out. If you go here, you can go. You kind of put the melody sort of ingrained with the chords. Here. swap voicings, fingers to play this, open B, and then I hit the rest, the melody, which kind of is part of the chords. Then open string. So then I'm ready to go on, right? Go here to the F diminished. I usually move the bass a little bit because the melody is resting, or it's long, if you will, like so I do I move the bass a little bit to get to the F diminished. So then I'm here, right? So that's a trick that you can use to kind of get away from the hard part here. If you play here, it's great, you know. You can play that easily here, right? But here you have that way of using the open string and have most of the chord here. So that's a solution you can use there. Couple questions here. Gauge string matters in some fine. No, it doesn't matter. What it matters is being comfortable to play. So I use extra hard tension on my guitars. It's just the way I play. I like be able to project, to have a lot of volume. So I use extra hard. But some people use hard, some people use medium tension. I don't have anything specific, just that I just like it. If I just play more comfortable with extra heavy. But if you play heavy or medium, that's good. So it doesn't matter to do this. It matters if the gauge makes you uncomfortable to play. That's matter, because you need to be comfortable, obviously, right, to play all this stuff. But if you feel great when you play with medium, like tensions, like a tension gauge, like go for it. You know, it depends on your touch and the volume that you play. So no problem there at all. The 6-string sounding Magla, thank you, brother. Yeah, it's a great guitar. I like it too. It's an old one. It's from a luthier from Rio. We got a question. Obrigado, Alex. Tá no Brasil. About improvisations in Brazilian music. Could you explain a little bit more the subject regarding with harmony or less topic to study, please? Sure. Eu vou tentar explicar em inglês, tá bom? Para poder a galera toda sacar. Let me think about this one. Improvisation using Brazilian music. Could you explain a little bit more? Yes. So what I'm doing here, most of the times, the way I personally play, it's sort of a mix of both. In terms of improvisation concept, I am, of course, heavily, deeply embedded in jazz improvisation, right? As far as that, chord, scale, sort of way of doing it, right? I am, embroiled into, and speaking this language, if you will. So here I am using the sort of, expected jazz improvisation approach, which means I am aware of some scales and things like that to use in particular chords, right? I will use, let's say, like the Lydian here on the A major. Right? And here I can use the alto, whatever. I am aware of all that. So I am actually using that here, right? And what I'm also doing is being aware of the rhythmic implications of this music and the language that we both share from Brazil. I am definitely aware of a sort of rhythmic framework in which I'm acting on here. The whole idea of this whole sambifying thing is to get me to a point where I am comfortable with these rhythms, so I can be sort of on the flow as far as in the language. And then when I am in that state, I can apply all the jazz stuff in here. So yes, if I play something like this, like something like that. Two things are happening here. I am definitely aware of the chord progression. I'm treating this as a regular, jazz standard. Like I know the chords, I know what I should play here, and then this group of chords, I play here, I play that, right? I'm aware of that. But I'm also aware rhythmically of what's going on here, right? So I was quoting before this thing I call the Brazilian syncopation figure, aquela figura nossa de cocheia, semicocheia, cocheia, semicocheia, né? Aquela papa, patata, papa. I'm aware of that, and that's in the 16-note grid, grid de semicocheia, right? I'm also aware of that. So when I am about to solo, improvise or whatever, eu tô andando em cima desse tapete, né? I'm walking through this particular things. When I'm using the, Lydian, whatever, and moving to another chord, I'm using that rhythm. On this case, right? Or, right? So there's a certain accent involved in playing that. So there are two things happening at the same time. I am aware of the jazz, idiom, language, improvisation thing, so I know how to treat chords. I am, of course, considering that approach of, okay, I play the melody, now I am going to improvise, so I'm going to play something on top of that particular harmony. Yes, that's all fair game. That's all inside the pot, right? And then at the same time, yet, I am coming with a rhythmic approach of understanding what I am stepping on, right? I am aware of what I call the 16-note grid. I'm aware of the rhythms of this music. So I am phrasing and riffing with that language. So I'm basically putting those things together. If I was playing a jazz standard, right? If I'm playing that, I'm swinging, I'm using the swing language and blah, 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 and all that, but I'm using the same harmonic approach, which is understanding the harmony, playing the scales, knowing all that, but I am on top of both approaches. I'm also comfortable enough with both, and here's the third thing. I'm comfortable enough with both to be kind of rising on top of it and thinking about ideas, or not even thinking, just like trying to be open to ideas that come out and knowing how do I carry them, how do I develop the ideas. I think that's the most important point. Besides knowing the harmony, the improvisation, and the rhythm stuff, is just being in a place where I'm ready to quote unquote compose in real time, right? Create some idea and carry the idea along. That's also what I was doing, and that's a more complex one to explain, but it's definitely a composition thinking of like, okay, here's an idea, how do I can carry that along, right? Developing the idea. So that's definitely helping here. Happening here. So, espero que tenha ajudado essa explicação com essas três coisas, mas basicamente é isso que está acontecendo. Obrigado pela pergunta. Thank you for the question, bro. Let me see more here. Cássio, obrigado por aparecer de novo em inglês, ok? Castro, this is a microphone right here. See, I'm using here. There's nothing plugged in. I'm just using a microphone, but this is going through Logic Pro. That's like the whole system here. I'm using through Logic, and I'm using an UAD plugin, preamp. I'm using Valhalla reverbs. You see, verb. It's a little bit of a Valhalla reverb and some mild mastering plugins. L1 Ultra Maximize the Waves one, and MV2. Estou usando os dois plugins para master, para deixar o level um pouco mais alto. Mas é isso. As far as the while I use this guitar has two inputs, as you can see here. Right, you have this one and this one. This one is a saddle pickup. This is done by K&K. This was custom made. Eles fizeram para mim, mediram bonitinho, fizeram sob medida. Ele tem um preamp aqui, like a preamp, so I use that. And this other one here is a microphone. Tem um microfone aqui dentro aqui. É um da Eller Bags. Eles chamam de esqueci agora. Anthem, alguma coisa assim. É um microfone que eles têm que é muito legal. Ele tá aqui assim. This microphone gives me a lot of volume before feedback. So when I mix both, and when I'm using this, the saddle, I'm using a bunch of other stuff. Tony Dexter é um preamp que tem uma imagem de violão, isso aqui é um monte de coisa. Mas aqui, here, now, it's just mic and reverb. Valeu? Okay. Another question here. Mitchell, Gabe, I can tell you how many guitar guys I play with on the bandstand that strum bossa like a rumba. Well, they should all come to hang out with me, so I will straight them up and get them to play the right stuff, you know. If you compelled to do so, lead them here to this place, to the facebook.com groups Brazilian Guitar. It's free. You just have to answer a few questions. Lead them there because they will enjoy the lessons. And if they really want to learn this stuff, Brazilian Guitar Institute, get into the waiting list because I'm contacting you soon. What question? Does playing those bongos help you with sambifying your rhythm or guitar? Great question. You're talking about this thing here? I wouldn't call this a bongo. This is I think an instrument from Africa. Some kind of drum from Africa. This is my wife's, actually. She brought this from somewhere. She went in Africa. This one though, yes, this will help you a lot. Let me actually get this and show you a little bit. Go grab this. This instrument right here. Alright, this guy, let me put my headphones back. This guy here is very important if you wanna, it does help with sambifying my rhythms on guitar. So we call this a tamborim. Don't mix with tambourine, the instrument that we call tambourine, we call pandeiro, which is a different instrument. But this instrument here is very important in the samba ensemble. I play, you can play with your hands, you can play with a little light stick, but you play here, and also you play here. With your finger, you're tapping your finger. So you play this and here. See, I have a sound here, and I have a sound here. And I have a sound here, so. So this instrument is very important, and I'll tell you why. Because there is this thing I talk about quite a bit. It's called the 16-note grid, which is basically a subdivision that you do Instead of think, I talked about this the last stream. You can kind of review that, but this music is supposed to be felt in two, a slower two, instead of playing. I'm not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, right? I'm counting like this. So my subdivisions would be different if I was thinking 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1, 2. Then the grid in which I'm operating is different. Therefore, I am in 16 notes. Check it. 16 notes. And that's where the accents are. That instrument, by design, is supposed to play on that grid, you know. I designed this instrument plays there. So I am thinking of this instrument a lot of times when I am playing grooves. All those are kind of hits and accents that this instrument does. So I wouldn't say that this one, the bongo is, but this one here, the tamborin, yes, that's a very important instrument, and it does help in the guitar language in playing this stuff. Cool. Brad asks, can you talk more about samba rhythms? What is authentic and what is not? Your last video just made me aware I'm doing it wrong at the end, I guess, which was disappointing because there was the part I feel the most comfortable playing before I watch your video. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I didn't want to, let you down that way, but I am here to help you to get this rhythm right. There is a lot of videos from me talking about samba already, and you should definitely get here, as I was urging you guys to do, to the group, because you gotta answer questions there and all that. But I have lessons there on samba, and there are PDFs in there that you can get, and I'm going thoroughly on those. I'm also have a podcast here on YouTube, which is more than 60 episodes, when I talk a lot about not only harmony but like Brazilian stuff as well, and I'm talking about samba too. So to make it a little short, because you have all this information there, in 2/4, that's the first thing, right? You can't be playing this thinking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You gotta think 1, 2, 1, 2, like a slow 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's one thing. 2/4, slow, and 2 bars of 2. That's even more like not only 1, 2, 4, but it's also 2 bars of 2/4. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you can see in the music, like this song, Brigas Nunca Mais, it kind of develops in these groups of 2 bars. So there's a little sequence here, by the way. Then so A major, G sharp, then G major, F sharp, groups of 2, groups of 2. B minor, G, groups of 2. D1, B, E. So the whole thing develops this way, seeing these groupings of 2. And I can even use that as my advantage. I can do a sequence like playing something, playing a phrase over these 2 chords, and then just repeat that in the next chord. Right? I sequenced it, right? So I play something and then repeat a whole step down. So 2 bars of slow 2/4. That's it. And the basic figure of samba, and then you can find the stuff in my group, is 1, 2, 1, 2, and. Bass, very foundational 1 and 2. Don't forget that. So that's kind of the summary of the samba thing. Hope it helps, but go to the group there, go here, get in there, or if you want to really study the sambification stuff, just go here and get on the waiting list. Cool. Devin, great, but thanks, man. I appreciate. I hope you liked it, and you know, ask questions if you need. I'm here to help. My God, I need to study much more. Thanks a lot. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. No, you know, nunca acaba. O negócio pra sempre, né? Muito obrigado. Pô, obrigado a você, Cássio. Espero que tenha ajudado aqui a explicar, mas é um miczinho que, beleza, não precisa de mais nada. Yes. Parece um djembe, mas é meio pequeno, ele é pequenininho, ele é assim, ó. Ele tem um shape do djembe, né? Mas o djembe é meio apertadão, assim, né? Pá! Esse é um pouquinho mais loose. Mas pode ser. I think it's a djembe. I could say that. Taking notes. I was looking at the other one. More questions. Nelson, obrigado. Nelson, parabéns pelos belos trabalhos. Obrigado a você. Tem uma pergunta que pode ser boba. Nenhuma pergunta é boba. Posso utilizar a corda hard tension no violão clássico sem danificar o braço do instrumento? Você mexendo no tensor. Great question. Nelson is asking if he can use hard tension strings on a classical guitar without damaging the neck or the fret, the neck of the instrument, without messing with the trussing rod. So this is a more classical guitar here, a 6-string, right? Classical guitar. Esse para o luthier José Chagas, do Rio de Janeiro. Aqui você vê o nome dele lá, José Chagas. This guitar also has extra hard tensions, which is what I use, right? And this guitar doesn't have a trussing rod. Esse violão não tem nem tensor. E eu tô usando aí, extra hard. Não danifica. Contanto que você regule, né, bem a altura, tudo bonitinho, mas em termos de tensão, não vai prejudicar, não. Eu não tenho tensor, I don't have a trussing rod on this one. Não tem tensor e tá rolando. If you have the truss rod, the tensor, you should observe and see if you need to mess with it. If você precisa mexer no tensor, mexa. Ajuste, deixe ele confortável para você tocar. Comfortable for you to play. Cool? But I think the most thing that will que vai afetar mais é o tempo. Is the weather. Aqui tá nevando aqui agora no Colorado, aqui em Denver. Então meus instrumentos are all getting like low tension, and I use high tension, but they're all like getting low. So I have to keep looking at it, adjusting, ficar ajustando o tensor. Tá bom? Mas não tem problema não. Obrigado pela pergunta e pela presença. Thank you. Is there a live stream one where you discuss this even more? Yes. I discussed this a lot on the previous one, which, by the way, every Saturday I'm going to be here now. Every Saturday. So last Saturday, you can take a look at that. This one, I'm talking about the sambifying method every week, and I'm going to start taking non-Brazilian songs and sambifying them for you to see the efficacy, I guess, of the method. Good. Oh, Reggie, thanks for being here, my friend. Hope it's clear. Brett, Dan, salve, tudo bem, cara? Obrigado por você estar aqui. Alright, does anyone have another question? Tem mais perguntas aí pra gente? Violão, da música. Eu vou tocar a música inteira, que a outra eu não toquei. Falei, fiquei tocando os pedaços e não toquei. The other one, I talked a lot and played pieces of parts of it, didn't play the whole thing. So let me play the song now. I haven't really warmed up today, but I will try. So forgive my mistakes. Just check the tuning here, because guitars don't like snow and cold weather. was that? I want to do this one, I guess. So something like that. So am I playing scrap? I haven't warmed up today at all. I had breakfast and came here to talk to you guys. So some comments. If there's something you're wanting to ask about, create potential. Thank you for being here. Nelson, obrigado a você por estar aqui. Coisa fina, obrigado, meu camarada. Dedé Costa, olá Dedé, como é que você tá? Tudo bem? Bom que você tá aqui com a gente. Bom demais. Um trecho você usou uma levadinha que me lembrou muito o Rabelo. Heineken Conce com a Marisa Mone mandando dança solidão. Show de bola. Dan. Yes. Rafael Rabelo, mestre total. Eu uso muita coisa dele. Pô, ouvi bastante, curto demais, Rafael Rabelo. Renata, olá, como é que você tá? Obrigado por você estar aqui de novo. Luciano, top demais, toca uma coisa do Zeca? Toco, cara. Eu toco, não sei se é compor. Eu já toquei coisa dele, sim. Não sei se é dele. É dele essa música, né? Verdade, né? Que chama. Essa é uma levada dessa groove I talk about in the program. Samba de roda. É um samba da Bahia, meio samba de roda e tal. Eu adoro essa música. Mas o Zeca, pô. Adoro o Zeca. Zeca Pagodinho is a great samba composer and singer. That's what Luciano was asking about. I have another question here. One more question. A movement of seventh in the chords in the music. I think this movement is wonderful. Could you show us an example, please? There are all the caidinhas, 6, 7, 9. Que caidinhas são essas que você está perguntando? Are you talking about inversions? Talking about movements in the seventh? Because if I go... if I am going to F major, right? Going here, I can invert the chord to the third inversion to the 7. I can go right, and arrive at the third, you know, minor, and then here. Maybe referring to some of these melodic movements in the bass that I do, essas andadas de baixo aqui, né? Nessa música, in this song, I did a few times. I was talking about this one. Aqui, here, we're going from B minor to F diminished. A caidinha, eu acho que foi aqui, né? I did move the bass to here. So this is basically an attempt to fill in the gaps, if you will. The melody, and the melody is important to take that in context. The melody is long here, or is resting. So the melody is giving me space to comment after the melody, right? So here, there was a little space in the melody, and that's what I put that melodic thing in the bass to connect B minor to F. So I hear... so the melody is long, then I did something here. So... right? Eu acho que é isso que você estava falando, né? So whenever you have space in the melody, either the melody is long or the melody is resting, you can comment, you can do something. And then on this case, most of the times, I do play the groove, which I was not playing because I was telling before, the melody is sort of informing the groove for me. I could comment here on the bottom layer, in this case the bass, so I made a melodic comment there. I can also do a counter melody in the middle, That's another application for the 3-layer approach, the middle layer. Here. See, I comment something in the middle instead of the bass. In that case, I did the bass, right? When I am not playing the melody, I am improvising, meaning I am playing through the progression without having to play the melody. Then I can do more. I can create not only a top melody, but also some to the middle, sometimes the bass, so I can mix them up. So I think, eu acho que foi isso que você quis dizer com a caidinha, não foi? I think that was it. Cássio, nice. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Nat. Thanks for being here. Luciano Santos. Sim, é do Zeca, né? Essa é uma verdade, eu acho, né? Linda, maravilhosa música dele. Dedé Costa. As vozes partido alto são animais. Obrigado, Dedé. Vou falar disso agora. There was a groove I'm playing in the intro and at the outro that is sort of a subset, a variation of samba. Samba partido alto, right? Instead of playing... I play something like this. You can think of as two things. I am using more eu estou pensando mais no samba funk aqui, mas mistura um pouco com partido alto. Partido alto, it's a groove, which by the way is also on the group. Go to the group, guys, right here. Go here, it's free. You just have to answer questions and get in. There's a lesson on partido alto. There's a lesson on a lot of stuff there. Samba, funk, and partido alto, two different, because similar but different things. I use that on the beginning and at the end. Partido alto is more like this: 1, 2, more like this, right? Samba funk's more like. So eu estava usando mais o samba funk até do que o partido. Those are types of, subsets of different alternate possibilities of samba. They can use samba funk, partido alto. I talk about all that in here, get in here. It's free. So I use in the beginning the melody. I kind of play that groove through it. Right, by the end too. So this groove is more of a samba funk. Dedé, eu tô usando mais um samba funk aqui. Partido seria mais assim, né? O baixo tem que completar mais, né? O trajeto, né? O samba funk é mais bum 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 pa bum bum pa bum pa. Eu tava usando mais isso. I was doing more this. Eu usei essa levada aí. I use that groove. Dan's asking. Talvez seja aquele voice dentro do acorde quando a gente fica parado no mesmo acorde. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about now. That's another thing, by the way, that I have a lesson on inside the group. Man, you guys are missing out. This group is the bomb, it's fire. There's all kinds of lessons there, and it's all free. You just have to answer stuff when you enter the group. I talk about this there. Eu falo disso lá. It's basically about when you have a chord that is idle, that is static, that just keeps repeating itself for quite a bit, you shouldn't not be moving the harmony even though it's the same chord. It's just basically creating movement within the chord. So what I do a lot is, because harmony, at least for me, it's always moving. It's a dynamic thing. It's a living organism, if you will. It's always in the move. So even if you are quiet within one chord, let's say, like this chord, for instance, like an A9 sus. On this case, I am doing a lot of rhythmic stuff. A lot of grooving here, so I don't want to mess with the harmony. But if I'm playing something, it's an A major 9 for a long time, I can actually move inner voicings, just very tiny changes there to add some color but still remain in the same general area. Like for instance, and then there are sort of usual suspects for that. Major 7 and 6 are interchangeable. You can change them. So for instance, major 7, 6, major 7, 6. Even though the song is just A major all the way, I am moving these two notes and I'm applying some inner movement to the harmony. You see, now I even did now 6, then back to regular major 7, but I changed the voicing, so that note is now at play, the 5th on the low, and then I create this little path here. It's very simple, but it's highly effective, as you can see. I created like a little counter melody going on with whatever's going on. In this case, nothing's going on, so I'm just applying some movement. That's when you see, you know, I don't know, a cello could be playing this melody. Just like slowly, just like a boat in the sea, just like with the waves, right? The boat's not riding like this; it's just sliding like this. Without you know, although it's like following that path, going that direction, but it's just doing this. So when I think of harmony, I'm thinking movement all the time. I'll change the chord, let's see. I changed to A7. So I did similar path, but you see that I changed the chord, adjust, but I kept the movement going. So acho que foi isso que você falou, né? Da caidinha. É isso. It's creating movement where there is not supposed to be, but you should put movement in there all the time. Cool. That bass move sounded hot. Thank you. I do like to change the bass a lot. Yes, thank you de novo. Rick, great stuff, obrigado. Many Vibe, só quem tá assim, pô, Rick Pantoja, é uma honra ter o grande Rick aqui com a gente. Estamos todos aprendendo, professor. Está usando nota pedal. Luciano is asking if I was using a pedal. Luciano, nesse caso, in this case, you can see I'm using a pedal on the intro and the outro, right? Because the intro, as written, is like. Right? This is the harmony. Essa é a harmonia. Eu estou usando like an E9 sus chord, like a big dominant, big 5. So in this case, you can say I'm using a pedal. I can play those chords also, by the way. Eu posso tocar todos esses acordes e manter o pedal em Mi também, tá? I can play the whole harmony and keep the pedal here. So I can either change the chord all along. Can do that, or I can do mantive pedal em Mi. I kept the pedal here, right? Nesse caso, vai ficar tudo parecendo com Mi sus. It's gonna sound all like a E sus. That's the kind of area, general area, like a 5, big 5 thing. So, pedal. Foi um pedal, sim. Ari, olá Ari, você tem curso de folk, por gentileza? Sim. Eu tenho cursos, tem um programa grande de 1 ano que eu tô abrindo para o pessoal agora. E tem um grupo no Facebook que é free, que é esse grupo aqui, ó. This group here. Você pode entrar lá, você responde as perguntas, tem uma porrada de aula lá minha, só conteúdo legal. You can get there. And I have the BrazilianGuitarInstitute.com, que é o meu programa de 1 ano de mentoria. Vai abrir agora para o público. This link is going to take you to a waiting list. Esse link vai te levar para uma lista de espera que você vai assinar e eu vou entrar em contato com a galera. I'm going to get in touch with everybody soon. Eu tenho um curso, The Art of Brazilian Guitar, se você quiser acessá-lo, procura o meu nome com esse curso, você vai achar ele também. É um curso bem legal e esse programa é baseado no curso, mas é uma coisa grande de 1 ano, tá bom? Wonderful flow, thank you, Arrasou. Pô, professor, aí você me deixa sem graça, né? This is a great way to accompany yourself as a solo singer-songwriter. Yes, Leo, that's the whole idea of this sambifying approach things, that you can self-accompany yourself. Você pode se acompanhar tocando qualquer música, ou se acompanhar e cantar, ou fazer a melodia toda junta, tá? You can play them all together, so... Ou se você cantar, você pode fazer contracantos, né? You can do counter melody if you're singing. Aí você pode fazer umas malandragens aqui no baixo, na melodia. But basically, if you have a 3-layer approach, this is what I am showing all the time. You have more stuff. You can isolate things better. And then you can treat each layer as a thing, you know? So, you guys have any questions about Brigas Nunca Mais, the song? I'm gonna put that here again so we can see it. Yeah, that's the song again. It's a great song. I showed you a bunch of tricks here. If you got here later, watch the replay because there's a bunch of things that we talk about. The harmony, some possibilities there are different, some rhythmic things, getting rid of the triplet and putting the Brazilian syncopation figure. There's lots of things you can do that, but mainly we're talking about the 3-layer approach, the sambifying method that I teach, which can take any song and make it into a Brazilian thing. If it's already a Brazilian thing, even better, because then you're gonna be jumpy and groovy, but I can take any song. And that's what I'm gonna do next time. I'm gonna pick a non-Brazilian one, like a pop music or whatever, a jazz standard or something like that, to show the power of the sambifying method, because it is a strong hook for, and it just worked. You just saw it today. That's what I teach here at the Brazilian Guitar Institute. If you really want to learn this, you have to come join us here. It's a 1-year program. It's awesome. You will learn a lot in there. Right now we are accepting people at the waiting list because we're working with the founding members, and I'm about to open that to everybody really soon, so you can join if you are fit to our program. We have to do a little chat on Zoom, and you play for me, and I sort of evaluate your playing and see if you're good fit for the program and stuff. If you are eager to get something right now, join the Facebook group that's called Contemporary Brazilian Guitar Mastery Group. That's the address that you'll find the group. It's free. It's free. You just have to answer questions when you enter, and then there's tons of lessons there, and there's PDFs and everything. You comment in the video with a hashtag, and I'll send you the PDFs of the lesson to you. There's a lot of stuff there, guys, and over here as well. Not even touching this because this is huge. I'm sure you'll love it if you join us. Yeah, if you have any other questions, I will probably go for today. We're almost at 2 hours. Wow, 1 hour and 43 minutes. There we go, guys. I will be live here next Saturday as well. I am gonna try to establish now a 9 a.m. Mountain Time, which is 10 a.m. Central Time in America, and then you can do your calculations for all over the world. There are people from Italy there, from India, from all over the place. You guys can get easier access at 10, probably 9:30 p.m. in India, I think, when I started, and other places in Europe. I know some people in Eastern Europe, France, so it's easy for you guys to be with us. So I'm really glad you all came. Thank you so much for being here one more time. If you have any questions, still let me know, because we're about to wrap this thing up and say goodbye. All right, have been practicing desafinado on my own. Great, man. Get to the group that you're gonna get more stuff there. Obrigado, Tadé. Tu vai curtir lá. Tem monte de aula lá, monte de material massa. Going to Facebook now. There's some chord melodies to accompany my singing. Yes, go to the group here. Access the group. There's some lessons there. I'm not a big fan of chord melodies for this particular approach. I talk about this. This is not chord melody. It's a total different thing. Chord melody is more like a traditional jazz thing where the melody is supported in every way from chords, right? This kind of thing. This is a 3-layer approach when I'm doing melody, bass, and counter melody. So I'm doing different things here. So that's why I make a clarification on this is not chord melody approach, which is a different thing. So, but you're gonna get some stuff there. Valeu, Dedé. Obrigado. Peter, my friend. Hey, so great to see you here today, man. Haven't seen you in a while. So look, I'm glad you liked it, man. Thank you, Rick. Thanks for being here, brother. And yeah, I hope you got a lot of stuff from Brigas Nunca Mais, a great song. But next class is a non-Brazilian one that we're gonna sambify live, and then you see how this stuff just works, because it just works. What can I tell? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. Leave your comments here if you have some. I'll check them out later if you have any other questions. But get to the group here. You're gonna really like it. And if you wanna dive in, you gotta come here. Go to waiting list, because it's about to open up, and your mind's gonna blow up when you see this stuff. Cool. Thank you all. I'll see you next Saturday. You guys have an awesome day.